Hi, my name is Pastor Hal York, and welcome to Truth in the Trenches. Today we're going to be in Proverbs chapter 10, verse 10. He who winks with the eye causes trouble, and a babbling fool will be ruined. What does it mean to wink? Well, probably an even more important question is, what does the wink mean? One person put it this way: once the wink is out there, it's anyone's guess as to how the public will receive it. Winking is one of the most wide-ranging, ambiguous behaviors there is. A wink can be friendly, flirtatious, lecherous, sinister. You name it. There's no end of things that a wink can be. Our verse calls attention to two kinds of bad communication: he who winks with the eye and a babbling fool. There are obviously more than two, but these are very common, especially in the life of unwise people: scorners, scoffers, and fools. A wink is a very subtle, silent, secret signal, sent in code almost. It's sort of like an inside joke. It can mean several things as a way of flirting or saying hello, or it can be a form of derision and mocking, maligning a person's character. You can do it all with a wink. Just a wink may say, "I'm not taking anything this person is saying seriously." Look at your buddy and wink as if to say, "This guy is nuts." It's a very tiny gesture, but the great things about a wink is no words have been exchanged. No clear message has been sent either. If it's taken the wrong way and we start to get attacked for the wink, we just say, "That's not what I meant by it," even though you know perfectly well it was. But without words, it's all hearsay. It's unintelligible. Proverbs 6:13 talks about the fool winking with his eyes, speaking with his feet, and pointing with his fingers. And it reminds us that fools can cause trouble with just about any part of their body. Their eyes, their feet, their fingers, their tongue, their hands are all in the fool's toolbox when it comes to reaping havoc or scorn on people. David prayed in Psalm 35:19, "Do not let those who are wrongfully my enemies rejoice over me, nor let those who hate me without cause wink maliciously." Winking is one kind of bad communication because what it communicates is entirely in the eyes of the beholder. What they took it to mean, or if not sure, I wonder what they meant by that. Remember a few years ago, during the Olympics, one of the gymnasts, when they got done their routine, looked back over their shoulder and just winked. Well, nobody knew who they were winking at. Were they looking at the judges? Were they looking at somebody in the family? Were they winking at the camera? What did it mean? Nobody had a clue what it meant. And that's the problem with a wink. Nobody has any idea but the one winking as to what the message is. If you had a crush on someone in high school and they looked in your direction and winked, what would you assume? You assume it meant they were sending a signal that they liked you. But many an awkward encounter has followed such a miscommunication or misunderstanding. What looked like flirting was really a piece of dust in their eye. Right? At least that's what they said if they talked to you for a few minutes. Winking. It's a very dangerous pastime. On the other side of the ledger of unacceptable communication is the not-so-subtle babbling fool. We have met this person all the way through Proverbs, the mouth of the fool, the overly brazenly talkative fool. Their communication is intolerable, babbling on and on and on about absolutely nothing or absolute foolishness. Unlike the wink, their communication is not hidden, but you have no idea what they're talking about. But unfortunately, it is not silent. It is often loud, senseless, and it never stops. They just want to tell you what they think. They don't have time to listen. They don't care about you. They just want to express their own mind. Babbling and winking are two ways to communicate that spread dissension and hurt. Obviously, as a follower of Christ, we want to communicate, but we want to do so clearly, compassionately, lovingly, thoughtfully, and courageously. There's nothing more cowardly than a wink sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. The Christians need to speak the truth in love and speak the truth with words, not innuendo. Be ready to give a rational, reasonable argument or defense for the hope in us or to the answer for the question or just communicating with your spouse or whatever. Be ready to stop if they have a question. Be ready to listen. I want to close by reading this verse in its context, verses 8 to 11. The wise of heart will receive commands, but a babbling fool will be ruined. He who walks in integrity walks securely, but he who perverts his ways will be found out. He who winks the eye causes trouble, and a babbling fool will be ruined. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. One of the marks of a fool is all his messages are hidden, they're coded, they're masked because he's a coward. And he doesn't want to say what he really thinks. He wants to hide behind his ignorance, hide behind his tongue, hide behind the wink, or whatever it is. We need to speak the truth in love as believers. There needs to be an obvious contrast between how a fool communicates and how the Christian communicates with those around him, with those he cares about. So be careful. Be careful. It's not a sin to wink, but use it. But be very, very careful how you use it, if you do use it, because it can often send a very veiled message, and we don't want our messages to be veiled. We want them to be truthful and honest and clear. So may God use His truth to guide us and guard us in the trenches of life as we seek to live for the glory of God and the good of others. May God bless.